This is an interview with Professor Max Finlayson, the Director of Charles Sturt University's Institute for Land, Water and Society, on the release of GEO5, the latest report on the global state of the environment. Professor Finlayson was the coordinating lead author of the Global Reports chapter on biodiversity.
GEO5 is a global environment outlook undertaken by the United Nations to provide an assessment of the state of the environment, the opportunities for governments to do something about it, and options for all of us to take actions. It gives a global overview. We often assess things locally in our own country, our own areas, but we need a picture at a global level, because many of these issues operate at large scales, not just locally. And the UN is trying to provide a picture for all governments so we can take global action. We weren't trying to repeat what had been done in the past. There has been a lot of previous assessments, but we're trying to build on that and make recommendations on major issues now and for the future. The first message we came up with was that the pressure on biodiversity is increasing. That is, we still face a lot of problems. We have lost a lot of biodiversity. 30% of vertebrate species are in decline. Many species are facing extinction. The fastest decline in species loss is in the tropics, the warmer parts of the world, and in freshwater and marine ecosystems. We have had some successes in getting species back or bringing them back from the brink, but these small victories are outweighed by the losses. The benefits humans get from biodiversity are at risk. That is, we risk losing the actual benefits we get through unsustainable land and water use. We actually harvest a lot of products from biodiversity around the world. The richer countries in the world, Australia, the US and parts of Europe, consume a lot of these products at the expense of the poorer countries of the world. But it's not as simple as just saying the richer and the poorer countries have a real problem in this. It's also the fact that the population in many of the larger developing countries is increasing rapidly, and they are seeking the same benefits that we get. So if you want equity, we should all go to get the same benefits. But if we're taking too much, there'll be a problem in the future. We have taken many steps to try and reverse the loss of biodiversity, but it's just not enough. But some of these steps are important. We have, for example, designated more national parks and nature reserves, and with 13% of the world's land mass now in some sort of reserve. We have increased the amount of regulation to support sustainable land use and to reduce water pollution. And we've increased the amount of money we're spending on these activities, particularly internationally, but it's just not enough. Our successes are not keeping up with the losses. Governments now have the information that they need to take action, ongoing action, to meet globally agreed targets for biodiversity and to stop and reverse the loss of biodiversity around the globe. And at the same time, we can take efforts to get a better sharing of the benefits we get from biodiversity. Australia, unfortunately for all of us, has a very bad past record of biodiversity loss. But we do have a very strong science base. We have a lot of information, we have new information, and we have institutional arrangements in place, and we should be able to do much better. So with this information, we should now be taking action to stop and reverse the past loss of biodiversity in Australia, and at the same time help other countries who may not have that same science base to similarly stop and reverse the loss of biodiversity in their country.